Hey, good kind people, what is going on? Lee Sanders here. Whew, I'm still kind of tired, man. Just got in the house not that long ago, but I was able to catch the series premiere, if you will, of NXT 2.0 for Tuesday night of September 14, 2021. So we're definitely talking all things NXT for this episode here tonight. So I do appreciate you guys that are checking this out live right now, or you're going to be checking this out for on demand and on the downloads. Normally we have Tuesday nights reserved for exclusively to talk of NWA Power, and it really dawned on me, and it really didn't even hit me until I was actually on my way to work today. Because remember, for those of you that checked out the Monday night show, I told you guys I was a little bit on the fence. I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing two shows for you guys tonight, one covering NWA Power and then the other one doing NXT, or maybe I was just going to do one show and combine the two. I didn't really feel it made a lot of sense to have NWA incorporated in the talk of NXT, because honestly, when it comes to our NWA coverage, that is for a very specific targeted audience. And so rather than just have some of our listeners and longtime followers just sit through that, especially if they're not even checking out the content, because some folks, they just like to pop up when they see that I'm live. You know, they won't even interact or anything, but they do want to know what's been going on with NWA since they last had checked it out or whatever, because some of them, they can't check out the stuff on Fight TV because, you know, it's behind a paywall and all that. So so I thought I'd make it a little bit more easier tonight and just NXT tonight. And then if I get a second wind tonight, I will definitely do a NWA Power post show. If it doesn't happen tonight, I will definitely have it up sometime tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon, as a premiere for you guys. So yeah, FYI. And we're still doing what we normally do on our Wednesday night show. So look, NXT, let's talk about this. You know, it's one thing to hear, oh, NXT is getting revamped. It's getting new lighting system, new stage design, everything's just new. It's one thing to hear all of that, but to then pretty much find out going into tonight that, oh, no. WWE is dubbing this NXT 2.0. Officially, this is how they're dubbing it. You're going, okay. But then you've got to rewind it back a little bit further, because we've had folks that as soon as they heard what was going on with NXT being revamped and everything, and what really sealed the deal was the Nick Khan interview that he conducted with Ariel Helwani. Great interview, by the way. All of a sudden, you had everybody just out of nowhere. NXT is dead. Rest in peace, NXT. Vince McMahon is killing the NXT brand. Screw Vince McMahon. And what was amazing about this is the fact that you had a lot of people that were saying this stuff never even invested the time or day into checking out NXT. So they pretty much were just monkey see, monkey do. Copy paste basically, or just this is the cool thing to do. It's cool to trash on this, so yeah, let's get in on this and let's fucking trash this. But you had so many people that were just being Debbie Downers as soon as they heard just the idea that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were gonna be somehow incorporated with this new revamp NXT. And then we've got folks that are just spending this weird propaganda about poor Triple H being kicked to the curb. This was his baby. Poor Triple H. Hey, poor Shawn Michaels. Poor. All this other stuff that's going on. And you'd have swore, and I have to tell you guys this, especially for those of you that's been maybe under a rock the past couple of weeks and you haven't been hearing all of this stuff. This is literally the stuff that has taken up social media, that has been covered on blogs, that's been covered on, podcasts. And what did we get tonight when it's all said and done? What did we get tonight? I'll tell you what we got tonight. What we got tonight was a refreshing breath of fresh air. That's what we got tonight with this NXT. I loved I loved it from top to bottom, from the entrance, as far as the new theme that they're running with. It had a youthful feel type of vibe to it. I love the incorporation of urban, little bit of hip hop, modern, just all throughout. Not just with the way they opened up the show, but I just mean as far as the overall presentation of NXT tonight. I loved it. It was really refreshing. I truly took a step back, and as I do with any time I'm checking out something that's entirely new, much like a new movie, new TV show, I'm going, okay, my mind is blank as a canvas. I am just kicking back. I'm not taking any notes. Impress me. Give me what you got. Give me enough to make me want to come back and check this out for another week. And then we're just stringing the weeks together. And what WWE was able to do tonight with NXT 2.0, I loved it. I loved it. Look, I mean, not for nothing, but, you think about the old NXT, and, yeah, I did like that whole darkness to it with the lighting and kind of making the fans kind of feel as though they're not really there, that more emphasis is really on the people that's in the ring and all that. But I like being able to see the bright lights. I like being able to see the people that are in attendance. And it was a packed jam house tonight for that NXT. I loved it. Great crowd, great energy, really kept me invested all night long. If I had to nitpick, if you had to hold my feet to the fire and just say, nah, Lee, you got to pick at least one thing that was a little bad about tonight's NXT. It's workable, but the one, I wouldn't even really say bad, I don't think, but if there was one thing that was just kind of, is the fact that so many new faces that were incorporated. Sure, we got to see some of the old guard that we've been watching on NXT for the past consecutive weeks and everything. And again, you heard the rumblings that, they're going to be pushing new, young talent. They're not really going to be so heavy on, let's get a hold of these darlings that's been working on the free agency market or the indie scene, as most of you guys know. Now, let's go ahead, and we got this great homegrown talent that's over here. Let's go ahead and really capitalize on all that. And, if there's one thing, there's just a lot of faces that I saw tonight. And I remember watching the last handful episodes of NXT leading up to the revamp tonight. And for me personally, and you got to forgive me, and I'm sure most people are in the same position I am, which is, okay, yeah, not checking out 205 Live. What? They still got Main Event or whatever the heck it's called? Yeah, not watching that. No, right? So if you're not watching these other shows, you're not watching NXT UK, or you're not really on top of your WWE related news as far as who all have signed to the Performance Center, it's very easy to go into tonight's episode, see these new faces, and be kind of taken back. Me, the way I looked at it, I just said, okay, these are faces I'm not really, and this would be my best advice to everybody tonight, which is, for those faces that you just were not familiar with, for those of you that's getting ready to watch NXT 2.0, take this approach that I had, which is, okay, don't know who this person is, never seen them before, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. First impressions, right? Pleased to meet you, nice to know me, right? Proper introduction. And some of the new faces that we had got tonight, I got to say, they left a really positive impression on me, to the point I do want to see some of these guys again. Now, let me say this. We heard rumblings. I guess PW Insider had started it up. I'm not really sure who to give the proper credit to, but PW Insider, they got word that Kevin Dunn, his fingerprints were going to be all over this, because he was there supposedly tonight, and that he was going to be on hand to really give tonight's NXT 2.0 that big feel. That feeling that you get whenever you watch SmackDown or you watch Raw, right? And the pay-per-views as well. And they said that Kevin Dunn was there to give it that nice big feel, right? So rather than majority of people look at this and say, okay, all right, they're really trying to make sure that this new era of NXT really gets off the ground up and running. They're really trying to make sure that it's popping. That would be, you know, understand what I'm saying? I mean, you know, you really stop and think about it. It would be no different than, I'll give you a perfect analogy. It's not long-winded. Stay with me. This actually happened. Me and the wifey over the weekend, after I got off of work, she said, hey, you want to go grab a bite to eat? I said, yeah, let's do that. Where you want to go? Well, you know what? It's been a while since we went to Red Robin. Why don't we go to Red Robin? So we go to Red Robin. We find out at Red Robin that there's a 30-minute wait for a table because they're understaffed. So at this point, you have to decide, are you going to wait the 30 minutes? And keep in mind that even after you get a table, you're going to probably be waiting an extra little bit of time to get your food because they're understaffed. They're hurting for help. Or are you going to take your business elsewhere? And what we ended up doing is taking our business elsewhere. So when I look at NXT, take what I just gave you, hold on to it. Now let's apply it to NXT. You know, look, not for nothing, but in some aspects, under the old NXT format, you're kind of looking at it, and honestly, to each its own. For me, I'm kind of going, man. For me, I was going, I wish sometimes NXT would really have that nice, good production quality type of feel to it. I really wish that Vince McMahon could, instead of just letting this be a Triple H pet project, I really wish he could double down and really get in on this. And I didn't never say to the point he needs to be having his hands all in it. But I did kind of feel as though, man, it'd be nice if he could get a little bit more invested into this, because after all, we're talking about the future superstars of tomorrow. Surely he should be a little bit more invested in NXT. You hear from the numerous interviews over there, even from Triple H. Once in a blue moon, the old man will watch it, but yeah, for the most part, you know, he pretty much doesn't know about what's going on with some of these guys that's from NXT unless we show him a little tape compilation, and it pretty much goes from there. On the contrary, we finally get Vince McMahon in a position where, okay, I'm paying a little bit more attention here to this NXT. Whether we want to talk about this had to do with numbers as far as the ratings, and look, some of the numbers that NXT was putting out, you know, look, I've always believed in the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But not for nothing, but too many times the NXT numbers, we've been right here consistent for years, going over the viewership numbers and everything, you know, combining everything, you just knew, especially with that nice big fat deal that they got from NBC Universal, they want to try to do everything they can to make the NBC executives happy and all that. So to hear that Vince McMahon was going to get involved in this and all that, like I told everybody, don't rush to conclusions. Just let everything play out for itself, right down to the point. There was a post I put up on YouTube about maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And there were some comments that I just went on ahead and I deleted, because some of the comments, they were coming in, you know, pretty snide, pretty crude, you know, but my message to people was just pretty much, look, you know, continue to hold on to that one thing called optimism, and just don't judge a book by its cover. Wait until you actually get the bad boy and then pretty much go from there. This is what I said a week ago. Laugh out loud. Mofo saying RIP NXT when the majority of you all don't watch NXT or give a damn about NXT. Reveal new logo and say McMahon and Pritchard behind revamp, and mofos go bonkers. These are folks without inside WWE info. Wait and see approach, folks. Don't feed into bullshit clickbait and propaganda, folks. And there were some comments that came in where some of the folks were being pretty, you know, look, I appreciated those that said, it's really hard for me to be optimistically because blah, 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 this has happened in the past. Okay, I get that. But people that were just coming on there just to, make a little rude comments, and I didn't have time for that. I just pretty much delete that, and I pretty much hit them from the channel again so I don't ever have to see them. So you hear the last little thing before going into tonight. Kevin Dunn is behind production. And real fucking quick, like a firestorm, everybody and their mama gets to freaking Kevin Dunn, Kevin Dunn, fucking Kevin Dunn, and they are just with the phone there or the tablet, and they are just right. I guess it's to make themselves feel better or whatever. Most of the comments I saw about Kevin Dunn, pretty much either making fun of him or, oh God, it's the shaky fucking cameras of Kevin Dunn. That's his trademark. Jesus Christ. Camera cutting every 5 seconds. I say all of this for a simple reason. And this isn't a rant, but it's incorporated. You can't help but talk about this when you're talking about NXT 2.0 and all that overall. But this is the message. This is the main point. And I appreciate y'all's patience on this. It's fucking 2021. You've watched enough of WWE programming to know. And I find it amazing because we get the same amount of people that shit on WWE Raw. You see all the bashing that happens with WWE Raw. But then when you go to SmackDown, oh, beautiful. Oh, brilliant. Oh, superb. Oh, great episode. Oh, and the thing is, the same people from Monday are pretty much used for SmackDown. Every time you get the people, hey, that WWE pay-per-view, that was pretty damn good. The same people that also did SmackDown, that did Raw, are also the same people that's behind the pay-per-view. Right? So if you want to catch somebody in a lie, just kind of remember that first of all. But it's 2021. There is so much great professional wrestling that is out there. Whether it's MLW, whether it's Ring of Honor, whether it's New Japan, AEW. You into the women's wrestling. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. Got to give NWA its flowers as well. Got to give Booker T, his reality of wrestling promotion, its flowers as well. I mean, these guys, they just announced a new TV deal where they're going to be syndicated in even more markets across the U.S. So now it's gotten to a point where all you need to do is just check your local listings to see if you get that. But my point, there is so much variety that is out there. If you're not feeling WWE, I ask you, why do you even continue to waste your time and energy, exhausting your energy at that, on something that you despise, when instead you should just put that energy on something that you love? I just don't understand that. And I've yet to see a validated argument from someone that, well, no, I continue to watch it because fill in the blanks. I've yet to see a very rational reason why a person keeps, and I'm not trying to hear that whole, oh, well, it's my job. It's what I have to do. Even those that fucking do whatever for a living, even after a while, they fucking decide, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. I want to review movies that, are more up my alley, yada, 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 yada. Okay? So, Kevin Dunn's trademark. Okay. Then you have a decision to make. You're either going to watch the show live in real time, or you're going to come back and you're going to watch the show once it's over with so you can fast forward, or you just don't watch it at all. You watch something else. It's that fucking simple. That fucking simple. But there is just so much fucking negativity in 2021, especially when it comes to pro wrestling. You keep hearing this bullshit about, oh, we got to be better than that. We need to be better as wrestling fans. We definitely, we're too nitty gritty. Oh, we're too negative all the time. Oh yeah, we really let ourselves down. And then the next thing you know, the very next day, it's pretty much rinse and fucking repeat. But NXT 2.0 tonight, production value-wise, I got a couple of pictures I do want to show you guys, too. Very good. Very good. We got ourselves a new NXT champion. I know right now one of the big questions that's out there is what's going on with Samoa Joe? Is Samoa Joe okay? Exactly what type of injury does Samoa Joe have? And it led to the point he had to relinquish the NXT championship. No Samoa Joe tonight. I would like to believe that somewhere down the line in the foreseeable future, we'll see Samoa Joe. And, you know, because I mean, I would like to believe that we did not get all of those teases with Samoa Joe as the NXT co-GM. Oh, man, Samoa Joe, Pete Dunn. Oh, man, Samoa Joe, Tommaso Ciampa. Oh, shit, Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, baby. Well, he's gone now, but you get the point, right? We kept seeing these great teases with Samoa Joe back in NXT. And you're going, man, yeah, those matchups would be pretty fucking good. But if you're a realist, you're quietly saying to yourself, yeah, that'd be great if Samoa Joe can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy. And, you know, we've yet to get any type of information out there by Samoa Joe or WWE letting us know exactly what type of injury he's suffering from right now that led to the point he had to relinquish the NXT championship. Furthermore, how long is Samoa Joe going to be out? You know, we've got some people that are under the impression that everything that's going on with this NXT championship, it being taken off of Samoa Joe, that it's part of an angle, that this was always the case, and it was always this vehicle to try to put more buzz on this new revamped NXT. I just don't know about that, y'all. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on that one. That's a hell of a. I mean, look, not for nothing, but I've watched enough wrestling over the decades to see some stuff where something has been done to just, with a championship, to just further advance a story arc. I mean, so I wouldn't put it past WWE, but if you're just asking me for gut instincts, usually my guts are not wrong either when I trust my guts. I just kind of have this impression that, nah, you know, it's legit. Something is going on with Joe there. Wasn't able to get cleared. You know, he's got to work out some kinks for a little bit, and, you know, he'll be back further down the road. You know, so I don't think this was done just to try to create even more buzz on this new revamped NXT and all that. But that's just me personally. But in either case, you know, we heard what went down with the Fatal 4-Way. Pete Dunn, Tommaso Ciampa, LA Knight, Kyle O'Reilly. Fatal 4-Way to crown a new NXT World Heavyweight Champion. Now, sadly, Kyle O'Reilly was not able to make it in this matchup. He wasn't able to make it into this matchup because our boy got jumped. Yeah, our boy got jumped there. He got denied the opportunity to go into that matchup, a match of great importance too. Instead, somebody ended up taking his place, and this was a relatively newcomer. And I tell you what, he did all right. This newcomer, he actually did all right. Let me kick things off here. We'll talk more about that main event match later on. We'll talk a lot more about that. I want to tease you guys with that for now. Kicking things off, LA Knight taking on Braun Breaker. This is a guy, you know, again, it's okay if you don't know some of these names. Look, obviously we were introduced to a lot of new faces that certain powers that be in WWE are saying, we like these guys. We think you're going to like them too. Well, you know what? We'll just have to wait and see how that all pans out, right? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But LA Knight was kicking back backstage, being interviewed about his opportunity to become NXT champion. Bron Breakker overheard everything that he was saying, stepped up to him and said, "Hey, look, good luck tonight in your main event match and everything, but I was kind of hoping that if you down, you're feeling bowdy, won't you and me go out there, have a one-on-one matchup?" LA Knight, he said, "Yeah, let's go do it. I'll gladly break the brakes off your ass, or beat the brakes off your ass." So that's how we got that match set up. LA Knight taking on Bron Breakker. Decent little matchup. They went about a little bit over 3 minutes. 3 minutes and some change. I didn't have any problems with this match. Come on, under 4 minutes, no problem right there. Also, Breakker getting an upset victory there over LA Knight on this revamped NXT. When you saw this spot go down here, you couldn't help but ask yourself as a viewer, is this a foreshadow of things to come later on in the night for LA Knight? So if he's losing this match right here, does this mean LA Knight is going to, maybe win in the main event match? So, you're kind of having that thought there in your head. But pretty good kid, pretty good kid, that Bron Breakker. I like him. He's got a great look about him. He kind of reminds me, if I'm being totally honest, though, he reminds me of a light-skinned version of Mojo Rawley, just with darker hair, is a little bit thicker. That's exactly who he reminds me of. I don't know how, if he reminds you guys of him as well, but that's honestly who he reminds me of. But he's got some nice personality, still pretty green, all the way around. But I saw enough there to make me go, okay, you know what? I actually like this kid. He's got a little something. I need to see more. I do want to actually see more of this kid in the coming weeks. So, yeah, let's go. And I thought that was kind of nice that, young man getting that W there, first match of the new NXT 2.0, and he gets an upset win over LA Knight. It's pretty good. That's pretty freaking good. And by the way, his name, Bron Breakker, the other name that he used to be wrestling under was Rex Steiner. And I totally understand that. Because when you look at him, this kid, he reminds you, the way he's built and all that, he reminds you of a young Rick Steiner, of the Steiner brothers. He reminds you, Scott Steiner is who I was thinking of, actually. He reminds you of Scott Steiner. He really, really does. And especially when you see the whole, little attire there, a little two-string attire that he's got on. Yeah, it definitely reminds you of freaking Rick Steiner and all that. I know a lot of people are tripping over the name change. A lot of people are saying, man, Rex Steiner was better. Why are we calling him Bron Breakker? What the hell kind of name is that? Guys, it's just a name. It's just a name. They could fucking call him generic wrestler number one. It's all about what this guy can do when he goes out there in that ring. That's what it's all about. I look at this no different, and you guys should know this by now. Look at the fucking Viking Raiders. Wasn't it the Viking Experience or whatever? Look at that whole bullshit and how everybody was just okay. And when it was all said and done, most folks were talking more about the name than focusing on the in-ring action of those guys and everything. So I'm not going to be all on the name. I care more about what this man is able to do in the ring. So again, fuck the name. Let's just go with, there have been worse names than Bron Breakker. Could be a lot worse. Imperium was in action. Fabian Aichner, Marcel Barthel, they took on Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. Pretty good match. Imperium picking up the dub here. This match went about 3 minutes and some change as well. So I mean, these first two matches that you're looking at, you're saying, okay, not too long. And, not really that familiar with some of these new faces. So just about the right amount of time that they put into these first two matchups here. So pretty good. This was another fine short match introducing a new tag team to the NXT 2.0 wing. Imperium getting the win. No problem with that. No problem with that whatsoever. But the young tag team there and Jensen and Briggs, pretty good. They've got a nice, and I like their entrance music. They kind of came out to a nice little country, kind of like a country little classical theme that they had going on when they came out there. Great looks. They got the boy next door kind of looks. And it's kind of funny, too, because when I heard Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, I'm just going, I don't know. It kind of feels like maybe we should switch that around. I don't know how big you guys are on your country music, but if you remember the band Brooks and Dunn, I just couldn't help but go, why don't we just say Brooks and Briggs, or something like that, or Briggs and Dunn or some shit like that. It just sounds like that would have rolled off the tongue a little better with those guys. But no, they got, for young guys, they got a nice, boy next door kind of look. They both got this nice, humbled American Pie kind of vibe to them. Now I'm talking about the movie franchise, by the way, but pretty much if you're that parent and you're trying to find a nice boy to date your daughter, these kind of look like those guys that you would try to set something up of a date and all that, right? It kind of got that little vibe. Now you can look at what I'm saying there and you could say, okay, so you're basically saying they're white meat babyface looking. Yes, that's literally what I'm saying in a nutshell. And this is despite the fact that I'm trying to remember if both of them had facial hair. I know one of them definitely had facial hair. I kind of want to say maybe both had, but despite the fact that one or both of them have the facial hair, they still got that boy next door kind of look and everything. Nice, pretty white teeth, all that good stuff. I just don't know if that would click relatively well if an opportunity ever came where these guys were able to go up on the main roster. I'm just not really sure about that. I'm a little leery because I definitely need to see these guys. And it was nice hearing them kind of cut a little bit of a promo going into their match with Imperium and all that. But, they just kind of seem a little too generic. There's got to be a flushing out period for these guys here. We'll see what happens with that. Next up. And by the way, the fact that, practically on tonight's 2.0, it wasn't a case where all the new kids on the block. I didn't think I was going to use that. That was totally unplanned. This show's unscripted. Anything happens. But no, if you were looking at this thinking that, okay, the new kids on the block here on this episode, they pretty much are going to be getting in upsets, because it's a new dawn. It's a new day, literally. Nah. So the fact that it wasn't a case where all the newbies got in victories, I thought that was a really nice, good balance that they did with tonight's show. Again, a meshing of the old guard and the new guard. Love that. Good shit right there. B-Fab from Hit Row was in her very first matchup. First time ever we got to see B-Fab in singles competition. I love me some B-Fab. Can I be honest with y'all? I love me some B-Fab. She is a nice, fine, tall, cool one. All right. Quote one of my favorite Robert Plant songs, right? Tall, cool one. She's a nice, tall, cool one. And she just got that mad fucking swag. She did not disappoint in her in-ring debut. She took on Katrina Cortez. You're looking at Katrina Cortez. You're going, oh, luchador. Okay, she's got the mask on and everything. You're going, okay. You're looking at the lips, though, of Katrina Cortez, and you're looking at her eyes, and you're kind of going, I think there's some cuteness behind that mask. Do we really need to have her behind the mask? Whatever. It's all good. So, short matchup this was here. This match, God, I'd be surprised if this match was even 2 minutes, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, this pretty much was a straight up squash match. I mean, just straight up fucking squash match. Neck breaker for the 3 count. 1, 2, 3. We can do the last rites to Katrina. It's like, thanks for coming. You never really had a chance. We really wasn't even able to truly get to know you there. It's all good though. It's all good. But yeah, that was just wow. If she looked a little bit familiar to you guys that had watched NXT tonight, she's also known as Jessie, Catalina Garcia, Catalina, and Carolina. And some of the matches that she's had, she's mainly, a couple of weeks ago, actually, no, back it up. I know January of this year, she had a match on NXT programming. She had took on Xia Li. And before that, she pretty much, it's been a while since she's been on NXT programming on a semi-consistent basis. You really got to rewind it back to 2020 when she was doing a lot more appearances for NXT, but most of those appearances she was doing on NXT, it was actually house shows that she was doing. Pretty seldom you actually got to see her on actual NXT TV. It's much smaller, more emphasis on house shows than on the TV shows and all that. So hopefully she'll get another opportunity, and if you guys want to see a little bit more of her, go check out 205 Live. Check out the episode from, I can't remember when in August, but she made an appearance on 205 Live on one of the episodes in August. You can see her in action and, check out some more of her stuff and all that. Thanks for coming, though. Yeah, thanks for coming. B-Fab, she looked okay. She looked okay. For those of you that's kind of wondering, what's going on there. Look, B-Fab, phenomenal on the mic. No doubt about that whatsoever. Phenomenal on the mic. Great killer. Fucking look. But as far as her in-ring stuff, the in-ring stuff, I mean, for the length of the match, okay, cool, right? But if you're asking me, hey, was it superb? Was it amazing? I can't go there, sadly. I can't, because that's asking a lot. Okay, here you are, barely 60 seconds of a match. I wish I could look for the way this match was structured and what all needed to be done. I thought B-Fab handled herself well, but I need to see something that's past 3 minutes to really be able to get a good gauge on, okay, where is she at exactly? Where is her game at here, truly? But man, looked pretty good as far as like some introductory moves and all that. I mean, she pretty much had pulled those off pretty good. Now, after the match, B-Fab was cutting a promo saying that people thought because she was, she was in the ring, she couldn't do it, right? And she just pretty much, squashed all the naysayers there. But out comes Lopez. By the way, I like the little line that she said about Kool-Aid. She said, people sticking their nose in her business without even knowing the Kool-Aid flavor. She's something along those lines. I thought that line was dope, the way that she dropped that. Out comes Lopez with Legado. Like the nice little back and forth that those two girls were having with each other and everything. And it was suggested that next time she won't need no pipe to shut that yappy mouth, and BFAB says she would love to do that and suggests doing it right there on the spot. Lopez, she seems like she's down, but Escobar says no, and BFAB says, okay, so Santos, all right, I see how it is. Lopez, you lucky because Santos right here, he pretty much just saved your ass. So obviously, a little bit down the road, we're going to be seeing these girls go at it and all that. So continuation here of if you want to say Crips and Bloods or whatever, yeah, go for it. Meanwhile, Carmelo Hayes is up next, and he had a little talking piece right here with his boy Trick Williams. I thought they was getting ready to say Trick Daddy. Shout out if you remember Trick Daddy. So Carmelo is being interviewed and talks about how he won the breakout tournament a couple of weeks ago. Momentum still on his side. He's got the juice right now, but he recognizes the fact that he has a big target on his back, and he says people will never, ever catch him off his game again. That's one of the main reasons why he reached out to his boy Trick Daddy, and Trick Daddy pretty much grabbed the microphone and talked about how he bout it. You heard that, and the good man. Only thing that was missing from that was the fucking hooty hoo. You know, that's the only thing that was missing right up from that. Or nah. That was the only thing that was missing from all of that. But Trick, Trick was very honored to be by the side of his boy Carmelo, but called him soft because, since when you started becoming humbled Carmelo? The old Carmelo that I remember, that's not how he rolled. It came to taking care of his business. He freaking handled it by any means, right? It's like, why you holding back, yo? Like, no more of that shit. What's going on? So, Carmelo saw his point and everything. They made their way out the ring. They bumped into Duke Hudson, who was getting ready to have a match up next. And Hudson pretty much just, kind of bumped into both of those guys as he was making his way into the ring. I was about to call him Trick Daddy, literally. But, yeah, Trick did not appreciate that bump and told Carmelo, what's going on? You going to take this laying down? Like, this is really how you going to handle it? Like, what's up? So they both went in there and they stomped a mud hole on Duke Hudson, just leaving him laid out, making their exit and all that. So obviously got a nice little continuation here from Hudson, Carmelo and all that. That's good. So it's nice that we kind of did this little bit of a pivot here from Carmelo and Escobar and all of that. Because remember, a couple of weeks ago, Escobar said to Carmelo, hey, don't even think about going after what was it, the North American Championship or whatever, or the Cruiserweight title, one of those two. He's like, don't even think about going after that. That's mine. You stick your nose in my business, I'm gonna have to take care of you. So it's kind of, he had to learn, Carmelo, he had to learn the hard way, but it's nice to kind of see that he's leaving that alone and he's just pretty much going about his business here. But this was nice. This was a nice little thing. Now, look, Carmelo, bright fucking career. Minute I saw him in the breakout tournament, always felt that way, still feel that way to this very day. Trick Williams, hell of a talent on the mic. I mean, damn good on the mic. Here's the problem with Trick. And I can't believe I'm saying this shit, but I got to keep it 100 with you guys. We don't need to get to a point with some of these guys where, okay, we don't know what the fuck you're saying. I mean, all that sounds really good, but it's really going over our head, and we can only really piece together 2-3 things out of what you said there in that 2-3 minute little promo. And then those that had watched NXT tonight would definitely be in agreement that a lot of the stuff that he put out there, just big time over the head, and you're just going, what did he say right here? Well, seriously, what did he say? Like trying to piece it together. It's like you're missing a few pieces there from that 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to make sense out of it and all that. So I believe going forward, we've got to simplify things more. I'm not saying we got to just totally revamp Trick Williams when it comes to him on the mic. I'm not saying we got to do a total revamp, but we got to make sure that, out of what we got of him tonight, and he actually kind of fudged just a little bit. He did fuck up a little bit in his promo. It kind of seemed as though he was maybe kind of spaced out, lost himself at one point, and then he did a nice little rebound, but we got to simplify it, and we got to, out of 100% of what I saw of Williams tonight, as far as that whole, and it's not even an Ebonics thing. It's not even that. It's nothing to do with the Ebonics. It's just a lot of the slang that he was using. It's just, this is a case right here where I understand that the way this NXT is being revamped is trying to really, really home in on that target audience. It's really trying to home in there. You can tell by watching it. They're really trying to go in for that 18 to 49 demo. They're really trying to tap into that. Thus, when you think about everything that I had said earlier in the night, right, kind of makes a lot of sense and everything. But I would say there's two people that come to mind. Actually, three people that come to mind that I think Trick Williams need to kind of learn from a little bit. Take R-Truth, MVP, the Briscoes from Ring of Honor. Just combine all of that. Just roll that into one. And my challenge, my advice to Trick Williams would be study those guys and and take some notes and pretty much go from there, right? Pretty much go from there. And I mean, even the crowd that was in attendance, when they were listening to Trick, it wasn't connecting with them. It wasn't. Only a couple of key things. I appreciated the fact that he was trying to get the crowd worked up. He was trying to get them into it and all that, but most of it was pretty flat. So hopefully going forward, they'll clean that up a little bit. Casey Cananzaro and Kaden Carter were in action against Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Sweet Jane. My sweet, sweet Jane. Okay, match. Mandy Rose actually got involved in this. Dark-haired Mandy Rose too. I told you guys we got some images. Let's go ahead and let's load this up for you guys here. Yeah, this was our returning Mandy Rose here in the middle. Mandy Rose now pushing the dark hair. Brunettes. Yeah, buddy. That's all I got to say about brunettes. Crowd was actually into this. I'm not sure about the whole "this is awesome." I don't know why that was. Yeah, it is what it is there. But Gigi Dolan, JC Jane picking up the dub. Trying to, if there's anything else I want to add in regards to this matchup. This was actually another match that was pretty short too. When I stop and I think about it, this was kind of about maybe 5, maybe possibly 6 minutes of a match. Let me take this image off for now. I got some more images I'll show you guys in a hot little bit. Wasn't that great of a match. Rose was in there. There were some moments that were a little bit shaky, that were a little bit off. But, hey, at least it was a short match, right? At least it was a short match. Ridge Holland, squash match. Drake Maverick. About a minute 53, minute 55. Fucking Drake Maverick. Just. Hey, at least we saw him less than 24 hours ago, right? He was on Raw, and he seems to be the one that has this master plan on how the 24/7 championship can be taken off Reggie. Well, I hope that really comes through, because the string of bad luck Maverick has been on as of late. That's all I got to say. Next up, before we got to our next match, which had involved the Creed brothers, we had got to see a little video package of somebody that soon is going to be coming to NXT 2.0. This was Carmelo and Trick Williams there from earlier. Meant to show that to you guys. We'll come back to him. I got something to say about him. We'll come back to him. I'll tell you guys about that moment in a little bit. This is what we're on right now. So we get this video package from this guy. Worst Italian accent I've ever heard. A guy by the name of Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo. Apparently he's coming soon. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo. The most bootleg, broke-ass Italian accent I've ever heard in my life. And I sincerely mean that. I am not nitpicking. Look, I have quite a few Italian friends. And let me tell you something. They don't sound like Tony D'Angelo. I mean, this... I'm telling you guys that straight up. I'm telling you guys that straight up. This made me not interested in whoever this guy is. I didn't particularly care for him. For those of you that might be a little bit curious about, how exactly did this guy sound with his Italian accent and all that. I'm trying to think if I can actually give you guys a little bit of an accent. I think I can pull it off. I think I can pull it off for you guys. So, he says a little something like, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here. He Hey, how you doing? My name's Tony D'Angelo. All my life, I've had to work really hard to get what I got. Growing up in the streets of Chicago, it could be kind of rough out there for a kid. Trying to do your best to make $1 out of 15 cents. But then, as I got older, I got wise to the game. And I was really good, I found, with my hands. Did a really good job beating people up all around my neighborhood. I got older. I decided to try to get involved in wrestling. But I found out the hard way. Wrestling doesn't pay the bills. So that's why I'm coming to NXT. It was just the weakest, wackiest Italian accent I've ever heard in my life. I just looked at that, shaking my head, and I'm going, I'm not excited. This, of all the new people, like, this does not excite me. No, sorry. This doesn't excite me. I'm not interested. I'm not invested. No. Fuck no. You can keep that name too. Tony D'Angelo. Shout out to my boy Michael. Michael was giving me a heads up on Twitter. And he was telling me, because he's a big NHL fan, he was telling me apparently in the NHL, there's a guy named Tony D'Angelo. And he is apparently, it's been established that he's a racist prick that is also a COVID denier. Yeah. And apparently there's even more to this story where D'Angelo had, Jesus Christ, where apparently he got punched out by one of his own teammates for being a racist prick in the locker room. Bullshit you not. So my message to WWE, you may want to pump the brakes here. And, obviously motherfuckers weren't paying attention when it came to, so what's your name going to be? I was thinking Tony Sicilian. Too racist. Nah, how about Tony D'Angelo? And it's kind of like, we got to be careful. I don't think this name is going to hold up. I don't. And if WWE is very smart, and they usually are, if they're very smart, it comes to their PR team and all of that, that name, it needs to change with the quickness. With the freaking quickness. I don't know. I know some of you are probably thinking, well, can we maybe call him Anthony D'Angelo? No, because sadly, when you go with Anthony, Antonio, Antoine, usually short for Tony, right? No matter how you cut it, usually short for Tony. So you either still keep calling him D'Angelo, or maybe you spell it differently. Instead of it being D-E and then Angelo, maybe you just go like the R&B singer D'Angelo, D, do the boy, and then the A, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you do that. Or you just fucking, this is, WWE's in a really bad spot. Or you just abandon it, let him still, if that's the gimmick, let him still do the gimmick, but maybe instead come back a few weeks later with a different name or something. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. You don't want to be associated with that type of stuff. You don't. And the last thing you need to do is type in Tony D'Angelo in a Bing or Google search, and the first thing you pretty much come across is this NHL player who's been doing all this racist, stupid shit. Okay? So that's not cool. That's not smart. WWE, wake the fuck up. Get on top of your shit. You guys should know better. But get on top of your shit and clean that up with the quickness. That's my biggest piece of advice to WWE, because that's going to come back and it's going to bite them in the ass. Heaven forbid parents of kids sends letters to WWE or whatever, and WWE, why did you hire that racist piece of crap? Can you just imagine? It's going to happen if they keep up with this. So before any of that even happens, we need to fucking squash it with the quickness. All right, so from there, another squash match. A lot of squash matches tonight. You've been paying attention to the in-ring action? I hope you've been paying attention particularly to the amount of time that these matches have been going on. 3 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 1 minute here, right? Everything is just boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Really it's the main event match that had got most of the time here tonight. And everything was just filler, basically, right? But next up, Julius and Brutus Creed. Diamond Mine there. I'm trying to think who were the guys they took on. I'm trying to think of their name. I don't even think they introduced who their opponents were. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have no idea what the hell the other guys were. But the Creed brothers picked up the dub. Pretty much another squash match. Another match that's under 3 minutes. Wow. See the trend here tonight, guys? Not good. About almost 3 minutes of a match this was. Creed brothers picking up the dub. After the match, Malcolm Bivens, he introduced the newest member of Diamond Mine, Ivy. I guess they were trying to say Ivy Nail. Ivy Niel. And they welcome her to Diamond Mine. I smell something in her. I smell money. Usually I'm pretty good. I'm going with my gut instincts here. And I think there'd be money to be made off that Ivy. You see how she look. That don't look like the bitch you want to be playing around with, yo. She look like she'll knock your ass into next year. Seriously. Kushida comes out. Great to see Kushida back. Remember, we had saw him with that video message talking about how he had came down with COVID, him and his wife, and they both had got their vaccination shots, both shots, and yet they still had ended up getting COVID. But he was very appreciative of the fact that their diagnosis, it could have been much worse. The symptoms that they were experiencing, it could have been much worse had they not got their COVID shots and all that. So He had been in quarantine for some weeks. He came back tonight, though, so it was great seeing him. He was ready to take on Roddy Strong. Bivens, different game in mind, however. He wants to see Strong and Bivens, he wants to see Strong take on Kushida next week. It's like, well, wait a minute here. Why next week? Roddy's ready to go right then and there on the spot. All he's got on is his little windbreaker jacket and some sweatpants. Like, wait, no, we should have been able to. What's so special about next week when you get it, though? You get it, right? It's the whole building of the suspense, why you should check out next week's episode. You get it, but it's like you're telling me, think about this trend here tonight, which was like the biggest problem that NXT had here tonight. 1 minute match here, 2 minute match there, minute 15 here, 3 minutes here. It's like, you're telling me we couldn't squeeze that in? It is what it is. It is what it is. NXT Championship match, Pete Dunne versus Von Wagner. Now we can go back to that image from earlier. No, not this guy. That's not Von Wagner. That's Von Wagner. Von Wagner having a chat backstage with good old William Regal. William Regal revealing as it led up to this matchup that sadly Kyle O'Reilly would not be able to go into the main event match as he was jumped. I'm trying to think about who had jumped him, and it's not coming to me right now as far as who jumped him. I'm actually checking my notes for you guys to try to jog my memory, and it doesn't look like I took down. Who it was. So if anybody wants to tell me who jumped Kyle O'Reilly, let me know. But as it stands right now, I'm sadly not seeing it in my notes. I'm just looking here. Bear with me one more time here. I'm just looking real quick, see if I can get it. And no. Yeah, I don't have it, guys. I don't have it. I'm sorry about that. Let me do something real quick here. And if you guys want to post a little something in the chat, because I do see what you guys are saying, post in the chat if you know who had attacked Kyle O'Reilly tonight before I find the info. And let me see here. Let me see. I might have it now. Let me see here. No. I'm not seeing it in here. Let me try Twitter. Here. And let me see here. And I'll just say Kyle O'Reilly. And hopefully I'll get it this time. Because now I'm checking Twitter. Because I don't see anybody posting in the chat here. The one time I'm trying to get you guys involved in the show, and nobody is taking me up on looking up that information. Let's see here. Who attacked him? Who attacked him, though? That's the thing. Who attacked him? Yeah. I'm online as we speak. And, all we know is just he was attacked backstage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't know if that was a case where a mystery opponent had attacked Cal or what. But Von Wagner ended up taking Kyle O'Reilly's spot. He did okay. The kid actually did all right. Still pretty green. That music he came out to, good God almighty. You got to go back and you got to check out that music that he came out to. It sounded like stripper music, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it just sounds like that type of music you would hear from the same, playlist. Like right after that song goes off, you're going to hear some Motley Crue, Girls. Then maybe you're going to hear that. What's that one band You're my butterfly, sugar, right? You're probably gonna hear that fucking song and some other garbage fucking stripper songs. But yeah, Von Wagner's song did not sound. I like how Von Wagner came out there. Could you have scripted that any better for Von Wagner? Because literally, it seemed as though this was a page out of a WWE 2K story mode campaign, right? And in this case, Von Wagner is at the end of his campaign mode where he has a championship opportunity here. He gets to win the NXT championship, right? And pretty much if that happens, then obviously he's going to not only be champion, but pretty nice little payday and all that. And maybe as far as eventually moving on to Raw or SmackDown, that pretty much sweetens the odds for him even more, right? I was just ready to see for Von Wagner, I was ready to just see the screen just freeze and text just pops up on the screen. Mission failed. You didn't win the NXT championship. Restart. I was ready to see that for Von Wagner there. Tommaso Ciampa becoming the new NXT World Heavyweight Champion. I don't have a problem with this. Look, me personally, I actually wanted to see Pete Dunne or LA Knight. I wanted to see one of those two guys get it. The fact that it went with Tommaso Ciampa, I'm okay with that. Nothing personal against Tommaso whatsoever. I just kind of felt that, when we get some new blood in here, won't we, why not Pete Dunne? Why not a guy like Pete Dunne? Look at everything that he did when he was the NXT UK champion and all that. Why not a guy like Pete Dunne? LA Knight, he's been fucking fire. I mean, just unstoppable. I mean, guy's just been white hot. Like, why not go with a guy like LA Knight? But the fact that they went with Tommaso, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think most people would honestly have a problem with Tommaso being the guy to get the championship. And then look at it from this standpoint, too. You pretty much got a continuation here of the old guard, per se, ushering in this new era for NXT and all that. Match went about... Main event match, it went about, it felt like it was probably about maybe 22 minutes, give or take. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it felt like it was about 22 minutes. No, it was actually short. It's actually shorter than that. No, it was about maybe 12 minutes at most, because we had to make way for the wedding. Wagner looked like a fucking beast in his debut match. He looked like a fucking beast. Good match all around. Great stuff from everybody all the way around. No problem with this matchup whatsoever. Ciampa being that guy, I like that. Let's talk about that wedding. Indy Hartwell, Dexter Lumis. Look, I've seen my fair share of weddings, wrestling weddings over the years. There's always some type of shenanigans that go down in these joints. You just can't help but wonder, okay, what's going on here? Who's going to interfere, right? But this one was actually pretty damn entertaining. I got to say, the most fun I've had in checking out a wrestling wedding in a long time. I loved the part where the Reverend asks if, anybody has anything they'd like to say as far as why Indi and Dexter should not tie the knot. Speak now or forever hold your peace. And you had a bunch of people that all raised their hands, and Dexter just quietly opens up his jacket. And you just see on one side of the jacket on the inside that he has a fucking hatchet. And the people are just putting down their hands instantly. I just howled in tears with laughter. Good shit. I love that. That was pretty hilarious. I thought for sure, if not Gargano, I thought for sure maybe somebody we hadn't seen in a long time was maybe going to interfere in this. And I actually was strongly considering Austin Theory maybe being that guy. Not for nothing, we did see Austin Theory return he was happy to see Gargano and everything. And, he pretty much was like, there's just no way I'm going to be missing this wedding. I wouldn't miss it for the world. So I kind of had the vibe that, maybe he was going to be the one to interrupt the wedding, beat the crap out of Dexter Lumis, trying to extract some type of revenge. Because remember, him and Lumis, that history, they kind of never really did get on that same page as far as being buddy chum and all that. So I kind of felt for sure that maybe that was going to be the direction, or maybe there was somebody else I hadn't thought about in a good while that hadn't been on TV in recent memory that was maybe going to return. Nothing along those lines had went down. Nothing along those lines had went down. So that was interesting. Then we get down to Indi Hartwell, come to exchanging of the vows. Indi saying some really sweet stuff. When it's time for Dexter to say something, Dexter has nothing to say. And the Reverend just was perturbed at that. He wasn't mad at Dexter, but he just was, Dexter, seriously, you don't have anything you want to say? Like, Indi Hartwell here just said some really nice, beautiful, sweet vows, and you don't have anything? There's nothing that you want to say? And Dexter just pretty much choked out the ref. I was about to say the ref. He pretty much choked out the Reverend, just laid him out cold. And next thing you know, the attention shifts. Everybody at the wedding party, now their attention shifts to William Regal as they want him to be the Reverend. Regal wants no part of it whatsoever. Beth Phoenix, leave it up to Beth. Beth actually gets in the ring and she reveals that she knew something like this was going to happen. And that's why in the days prior, she did everything she could to get a ministry license, just so she could wed Dexter and Indi, because she felt something weird was going to go down. So she actually got in there, and it was pretty much time to, continue on. Indi saying, I do. Dexter's turn. Dexter kind of stone cold face. You're kind of looking at him, dude, you're supposed to say I do anytime now. And you're just kind of thinking, okay, is he maybe gonna, what's going on here? Is he about to leave her at the altar? What's the deal? But finally, Beth is about to say something, and he pretty much puts his hand in front of Beth's microphone and says, I do. Crowd is loving this. I'm definitely loving it. I'm literally up and down. I'm sure most people were looking at this as well. And Beth proclaims them husband and wife, and all is right in the NXT universe as, we now got ourselves a psycho wedding couple. This is probably the first time in WWE history in a long while that a wrestling wedding had went off without any shenanigans going down. You just would have thought something weird was going to go down. Didn't go down. Highly enjoyable segment. Very entertaining. Loved it. Now, that's not how we end. We actually do a nice little transitional fade into a TV of them now tying the knot. And Dexter's got Indi in his arms. He's carrying her and everything. And there's this nice transition to a monitor that's backstage, and it turns out Tommaso Ciampa has actually been watching the ceremony. And, he's holding on to his precious. And next thing you know, Braun Breaker approaches him, congratulates him on his victory. Ciampa returns the favor. The two of them shake hands. And there is intense staring there is going on between the two of them as all is silent, and NXT 2.0 pretty much goes off like that. So you're looking at that last little, and you just can't help but say to yourself, okay, so is it even possible? Is it possible as far as, a taste of things to come? Like, yeah, without a doubt, Tommaso and our boy Breaker, okay. All right, maybe they're going to collide there, right? New guard, old guard, okay, all right. we'll have to wait and see. But I like how they did that. Overall, this show was definitely more of, if I'm gonna be honest. If I'm gonna be honest, this came off more like a Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon presentation, but that's not really a bad thing. What they did tonight, I don't really look at that. It's not always a bad thing because, again, you look at, when we get the SmackDowns and you get the pay-per-views and you realize that pretty much most of the part, the same team's doing Raw, they're pretty much doing those things. So you're kind of like, okay. So sometimes it can be a little bit hit and miss and everything. Some parts for 2.0 tonight, could have done without for sure. I would have loved definitely longer matches. I think we should have had longer matches instead of extremely short matches. I wasn't really a fan of that tonight. Definitely was not a fan of that tonight. I'm just trying to think about some more stuff. Introducing the new people, okay. Some of the new people that they introduced, some of them I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing where their careers go in NXT and, if they can truly piece it all together and get themselves up to that next level and everything. There's others that I'm not really interested in. It definitely gave me that old territorial vibe back in the OVW days. It definitely gave me that vibe, what I had watched tonight. And that's not even a bad thing when you stop and think about it, because all things WWE. About some of the greats that had came from OVW: John Cena, Dave Bautista, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, Randy Orton. I mean, great fucking class that came out of OVW. So, what I had saw tonight kind of gave me flashbacks of OVW there from the early 2000s. I'm not sure if some of you guys had picked up those same vibes as well. And I kind of like the fact that, the way that they went about this was, okay, yeah, we got these new faces, but, we're not going to do this in a way where we're just plucking some guys from the indie circuit. No. We really want to try to just homegrown talent, really break them in, get them into our system. And, you can't help but respect that to a certain degree, because, it's like, okay, you get these indie wrestlers that's been out there doing their thing for X amount of years. They think their shit don't stink. Some of them can be a bit challenging as far as trying to get them to, not saying everybody, but some, you get the point I'm making. Some can be a bit of a challenge as far as, you got to forget about those old ways of thinking, and you got to, we need you to be programmed this way, right? That could be a little bit when one is set in their own ways and everything. I'm just trying to think about some other stuff in regards to this. I like the fact that we still got some of the old guys in there, though, helping usher in, the new crop of talent. We still got Tommaso Ciampa. We've still got Pete Dunne. We've still got Gargano. We still have Roderick Strong. We still have veterans like Candice LeRae, although, she's going to be, she's due pretty soon and everything, but, we still pretty much, we got her. So I like that we still kind of got some of these old guards that are there, trying to help in, right? So, I mean, that's kind of good and everything. I like this. I like this, and I wouldn't be surprised that the truest diehard NXT fans that pretty much have been sitting there with NXT from the very beginning, and they're pretty much rode with them all the way to now. I would imagine that they definitely are liking some of the stuff that they're seeing here tonight. There's a lot of great potential that's here. you definitely can't help but feel overall, you know what, I need to give NXT 2.0 a chance. Let me give them a chance and let's see what's going on here. Let's continue to keep eyeballs on them and see what happens with this show and a lot of these guys in the coming weeks. Let's see how everything strings itself together 3 months from now, 6 months from now, to the point of what Jock is saying. I'm extremely skeptical about the new NXT because Vince has his fingers in the NXT cookie jar. You and everybody else that pretty much found out that Vince McMahon, the only thing you can do is just continue to watch the product and get enough. You can't really just off of one episode, but first impressions mean everything. And I think with what they did tonight, you really feel as though, you know what, it really feels like Vince and them, they really want to try to make NXT succeed here, and the youthfulness that it has to it, overall presentation, the entrance theme, the colors that they use, the way the stage has been designed and all that, everything is just very, very fresh about it. And you just can't help but say, no, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance. If you're not willing to give this a chance, and this would be my message, if you're not willing to give the new NXT a chance, if you're that hard on because, oh man, Vince and Pritchard and Dunn, then it's kind of like, then don't watch it. Nobody's forcing you to watch. Don't watch it. Go watch whatever will make like I said at the top of the show, there are so many other things that you could watch, especially on a Tuesday night. There are plenty of other things that you could watch. Nobody is forcing you to watch. That's my message. Remember that. So for those of you that just, you can't stand, I find it amazing. It's like we focus especially when it comes to WWE, we focus so much on the bad sometimes, and we don't focus on the good when good is happening. I guess that's life in general when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it. That's how society kind of usually, much like the news, you wish that every time you turn on the news, it could be nothing but positive stuff that you're always watching, but you get that first 15, 20 minutes of deep fucking depression. You're like, man, why'd I turn this shit on again? This is depressing as fuck, right? It's kind of one of those type of deals. But, it's like, guys, nobody's forcing you to watch, but to follow up on what I said earlier, people, oh, it's the end of NXT, rest in peace, NXT, blah this. It's like, boy, I think they're eating a big old slice of humble pie right now. Look, let's talk about ratings real quick. Last week's NXT lowest rating, I think for 2021 so far, if not like ever since it moved to the USA Network. It did about 601,000 last week. So looking at this week, there's been enough weeks now, enough hype, enough buzz for this 2.0 version and everything. I still feel that it would have been badass had we not got Big E cashing in that WWE Money in the Bank contract, ultimately becoming the WWE champion. I still think it would have been badass if instead we would have got him on tonight's NXT. He cashes in. It becomes, right, that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect right there. Or you could have had him after the Fatal 4-Way was over, cash in. That would have been, I think, pretty badass. Pretty fucking badass. But all things considered, how things played out, I'm pretty fucking okay with how things went down. I think most fans would be too. But the curiosity is definitely there as far as, okay, what's next for NXT? There's one other point I was going to bring up in regards to NXT, but I can't remember it right now. I think that's it. I think we pretty much had hit all the points when it comes to NXT. Curvin Curvin sees it. He says the new NXT feels like FCW. Yeah, all the way. All the way. Definitely felt like FCW. All the way. Oh, FCW old OVW days. And if you guys don't, I know I said the John Cena's, and I know I went through some names earlier, but if you guys weren't checking out when OVW was under the WWE developmental system, when they had their little partnership, if you guys don't remember those days or the FCW days of WWE, you guys really missed out. You definitely need to I don't know if it's available on Peacock. I know before they made the move to Peacock, like any and everything you could think of was on the WWE network, including the story of FCW, including the early years of NXT and everything. I don't know if they're on the new Peacock. I would actually have to play around and see, but if it is on Peacock, check it out and everything. But yeah, to Karan's point, definitely the new NXT feels like FCW, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Let's see what else. What else here? I think we're nitpicking. I see a comment about the lights are too bright. The lights did not bother me whatsoever. I to each its own. I think that's kind of nitpicking. I had no problem with the lighting. No problem with the lighting whatsoever. If anything, I actually liked being able to look into the crowd and seeing all the happy faces and seeing their reactions, feeding off of them and kind of also at the same time wondering, hey, what do they actually think about? And then actually seeing in real time, yeah, well, what exactly do they think about this wrestler, or what do they think about this talking segment and all of this? So it's nice to versus, lights are extremely dim and you can't really see the fans, and all you're really able to see are the two people that's in the ring. I know that's where really the focus should be on and all that, but no, I actually was fine with the lighting. Great ring, apron. I like that whole new design that they got out. Even a new announce table layout and all that. Everything was on point tonight. Everything was actually pretty good tonight. Got to give my hats off to them. They did pretty good. So yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else we need to get into in regards to tonight's NXT. I think we pretty much had hit up all the points that we needed to hit up. So this is what's going to happen now. So this show's in the books. I'm getting ready to watch NWA Power. I'll see how I'm feeling, but I kind of feel that the most likely scenario, I'm probably gonna just upload the NWA Power episode for you guys. I'll have it air as an instant premiere sometime early Wednesday afternoon is maybe when I'll do it, most likely. We'll see. We'll see. I just got to take a quick breather, and we'll see. If I can get a second win in me, I will gladly do something, whip it up tonight, because I want to say, if you bear with me a second here, let me see something real quick, because I can actually see the peak time for viewers here. So give me a second here. Let me go right into Wednesday here, and I can tell you guys. So it looks like sometime between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. what I'm seeing here Wednesdays. It looks like you guys, there's a decent amount of you guys that are around. And then after that, it looks like it doesn't really pop off again until about 9 p.m. That's when there's a big bulk of you guys that are around. So we'll see how I feel. If I feel okay, the least thing I'll do, I'll upload the episode, and we will I won't even have it be an instant premiere. I'll just upload the episode to the YouTube channels on demand and on the downloads, and you guys can just check it out that way. Otherwise, it looks like sometime between 9 a.m. to about 3 in the afternoon. Looks like some of you guys are kind of running around during that time. So if I don't upload it tonight, I'll schedule it as an instant premiere sometime between 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern for you guys to check out. All right. And in the meantime, you made it up to this point. If you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor. Use that superpower of yours and hit that like button. When you do that, you help put more eyeballs on the product. So do that. Appreciate that in advance. Feel free to subscribe as well. You know, subscribe, hit the notification and all that good jazz. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Our next edition is going to be coming at you guys Wednesday night. I'll be live after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. We'll be able to talk all things Dynamite. We'll also sprinkle in the talk of Impact Wrestling, as they got a all women's pay-per-view that's going to be coming up, which, by the way, shout out to those of you. I got to make sure I stress this. I meant to say it on the show Monday night. I did not get a chance to, but shout out to those of you that are going to be, I believe, in the, I'm trying to think if it's going to be in Florida where they're going to be doing this Knockouts pay-per-view, but they're going to be doing a Knockouts pay-per-view this Friday, but you won't be able to see it. You won't be able to see it until, like, I think, you know, a week or two after the fact. Matter of fact, I'm looking at the press release right now. Yeah, it looks like the Knockouts Knockdown, it's going to be filmed at the Skyway Studios in Nashville, Tennessee this Friday, the 17th. But it's not going to be airing on the Impact Plus app. It's not going to be airing until early October. I'm trying to remember the date, and it's not coming to me right now. And I'm looking at the press release for this, and I'm not seeing. Hang on. Actually, bear with me. Yeah, hang on. Let me try clicking on this link, and I can tell you. I can tell you when it's going to hit the Impact Plus app. Let's see, 3 days. No, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But for those of you that's going to be in the Nashville, Tennessee area, September 17th, 18th, 19th, Impact Wrestling is going to be doing tapings. One of those tapings is going to be for the Knockouts Knockdown pay-per-view event. So FYI, I meant to get that out there because we actually have listeners that's in the Tennessee area. So definitely want to give you guys a shout out. So check that out. All right, but we'll get into a lot more because they made more than just the announcement of that. They named some matches, some other stuff that's going to be going down. So we'll get into all that on the Wednesday show. I promise you guys. All right. All right. So that is going to do it. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate the love and the support as always. Make sure you get at me on social media. And until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Peace.